Okay, I was gonna make a video, but I just thought I would make a video with some broader context. And what I want to talk about is process. So I'm posting and what I would like to uh, call a refinement of essentially this. This is a video that shows the actual capture. I mean, I don't know what else to call this, but the capture is usually the entertaining, happens in real time part. But in terms of whether or not the piece is an asset that is a memento for people who actually attended, or is a piece that actually serves as a information piece or a infographic for people who did not attend, rests on whether or not there is subsequent, I would say, post-production. So here's an example of a video I made showing me working on my, look at that, there's the scans of the capture. This was just sketch notes, so I was doing it in my sketchbook. Hey, there was me cleaning up mistakes, cleaning up errors. Then I'm composing, so I'm composing here in an effort to actually produce, so that's some post-production. Also wanted to show you some of the, I could show us a couple samples of the same kind of thing for Brahms. There I'm tiling, and that's fun. The point is, in that instance, I'm producing something after the fact. Oh, here's Stephen putting an erasing race. Point is, I'm posting the refinement that's been recently done on, where are we at here? I wanted to show some images. Here we go. Where are we? Oh, here we go. Yeah, here's the still captures. Still captures. That all ended up being turned into a nice final that looked like, where's Brahms' final? Yeah. So I know that within graphic recording it feels like a tacit sort of expectation. It almost reminds me of back in the graffiti world, the idea was that for people who used stencils, that was selling out. I feel the same sort of pressure to create graphic recordings that happen in real time. If not, you're selling out. I'm just guided by what I think is a valuable asset after the fact. And sometimes it takes an obscene amount of post-production. Call it what you want. So I'm making this video just to show the difference between a capture and a finished, refined piece. So what I'm posting today here is actually this. So these are some raw captures. Raw capture. There, you get a feel. This is what you would have witnessed in real time being drawn. And in fact, what I'm going to draw tomorrow. My intention has always been to create this type of a thing. I'd send it to you in black, but if someone wanted to print it, they would be like, okay, that's enough tone, or it's ridiculous. So flip it from white on black to black and white. But in any event, I'm ranting, but here's the finish. And there's lots that has been added. Bless Creative Morning's Heart and Sheila at New Branch Media for recording this, which allows me to have a second go. So, I mean, that would be my question for the graphic recording industry as a whole, is to say, how do we feel about creating systems to allow to have a second go? I mean, it depends on what your outcome. Like, what are you doing? Are you entertaining, or are you producing assets that are valuable later on? Yes, I know in terms of hierarchy on this one, there is a lack thereof. I don't mind that. I quite like that. That's personal. It's more of a reflection. Well, there is actually some structural resemblance to the presentation. A little bit of hierarchy here. We start over here and finish over here. Interestingly enough, I actually want to show you something that is interesting from the Gathering 2017, the Guy Kawasaki pieces. Because this is what I originally posted, sorry, I want to show you an ongoing refinement, and in progress. There we go. So that one and this one, and let me show you the difference between the two. Because quite often I'm having a conversation with people about the difference between a first capture versus the type of thing you could do. So this is what I put on a square aspect ratio and tweeted. No, I must Instagram that because I put it on 1080 by 1080. Having had the opportunity to go through it subsequently, it becomes apparent that it was tricky to keep track of the hierarchy that Guy Kawasaki started with. So I'm working on this. This is like his intro stuff at the top, and he had a top 10. Now, after going through it, it's obvious that balance-wise, there was a lot more time and attention paid to the storytelling around the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in fact 8, 9, 10 were just kind of brushed over. So this is kind of like the slugfest of trying to create a piece that could in theory work for people who didn't attend the event. For people who actually did attend the event, this is kind of like, oh yeah, I remember that, I remember that, I remember that. Somebody who wasn't there would be like, what the heck does any of that mean? It's useless to me. So most of the time when people are looking at these things, immediately, if they were there, they're like, ooh, I like it, I remember that. If they weren't there, they're like, that means nothing to me. So the reason why I wanted to show all this stuff and have this conversation, mostly getting this stuff out of my head, which is in fact what I'm doing a lot of the time, is helping people to get this stuff out of their head. Is that I just wanted to show the difference between the raw capture here on the chalkboard, and I wanted to show the finished product. So I'm going to put this up. If you've watched the whole thing, you must have an uncharacteristically high interest in graphic recording, graphic design, or whatever. But that was therapeutic for me. So thanks.